this is Ash, and welcome to Ash Said Hangout. So today I want to tell you all about an awesome event I went to last week, which was the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo 2023. It took place in the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City, Long Island, New York. And I had heard about the event last year and I could not miss it because it is all about retro gaming. It is all about meeting people who love retro games, and the people who gave panels and did events there were absolutely amazing and people who I definitely wanted to meet. So I emailed them and was like, hey, could I do a panel at this convention? And they were like, yeah, Ash, come on over. Let's do a panel. And I was like, what? Amazing. So I went over and I did a panel about how to stream retro games on Twitch, how to stream retro games on YouTube, TikTok, wherever the information was relevant to any streaming platform. I also did a podcast with Mr. Rightway, which was really fun. And we just talked about video games, game collecting, and we talked about, wrestling, TV shows, all kinds of stuff. We talked about a bunch of cool stuff. So that was really fun. And it was a really wonderful weekend. I also got to host a trivia event with Diamond from the Retronauts podcast. So the convention featured many different classic consoles, classic computers, and classic games. There was a free play floor on the first floor, and there was also an area where they did tournaments on the first floor. On the first floor, there was another arcade area that had a bunch of Japanese arcades and a DDR free play and pinball. In the free play floor, they had each section labeled. So there was a RPG section called Kupo Corner. There was an area for light guns. There was an area for LAN parties. There was an area for racing games. There was everything you could imagine. And what I was really excited to see was the Sharp X68000. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to play that in real life because first of all, it's really expensive. Second of all, it was a Japanese exclusive, and to be able to find one in the wild is almost impossible. So the fact that they had one for me to play, that was the first thing I ran and went to and played. And of course they had like an Atari ST, they had the Amiga 500, they had the Commodore PET, they had Apple IIe, they had Commodore 64, they had everything. It was amazing. And then they had like classic Windows machines where you could play Unreal Tournament. They had Unreal Tournament set up for a LAN party, which was freaking awesome. And they also had like lots of classic games like Maniac Mansion and Dune. And the thing that I loved about it was that it was not behind glass. Everything was made for you to go and play and touch and enjoy and sit with for as long as you liked, and to see all of the smiling kids' faces, like enjoying classic video games and learning about classic video games, that to me was one of the most exciting parts of it because it was cool to see people enjoying all of the games that so many of us grew up with. So there was the first floor, the free play area. Then there was the second floor, which was also a free play area. They had a free play area where all these like consoles were lined up against a wall. And there was also a section where they did music performances. I got to see 88-Bit perform, and there were many other bands playing video game music, video game inspired music. And there was a section where they had all these arcade machines. It was down a long hallway. They had Robotron, Joust, Space Ace, Tron, and they had like a 2 versus cabinet, which was like Castlevania versus. You could spend all day playing in there. Like with the price of admission, the arcades were free, so you could just go and play whatever you liked. And then on the third floor, they had a Tetris exhibit, and the Tetris exhibit was really cool. It was every iteration of Tetris you could imagine. So it went from NES Tetris, Game Boy Tetris, Tetris Arcade, Tetris on PC, Hatris, Wordtris, and even physical versions of Tetris. There were tons of vendors that were selling retro games, like anything you could imagine, pretty much. I picked up a few Nintendo Powers, which were cool. So I'm getting closer and closer to my complete set of Nintendo Powers. I think I'm only missing like 17 now. Oh, and then the panels. Oh my God. So Frank Cifaldi did a panel, which was cool. G to the next level. I saw a really cool panel where they were talking about a knitting machine that was made for the NES that never released. And then Pat and Ian did the CU podcast. They did a live version of the CU podcast. That was freaking cool. Oh, I also got to meet John Riggs, which was super cool. John was so nice. The Retronauts were there. It was totally jam-packed. And I feel like everywhere you look, there was something cool to see or someone amazing to talk to. I am so glad that I went, and I am looking forward to going next year. I will also say that it was extremely organized, and I didn't have to, worry about any long waits. And as a person who was also there, like to give a talk and stuff like that, the staff was so amazing and kind. And you could tell this show was put on with a lot of love, right? Because a lot of the stuff they brought themselves to showcase and to let people play. So there was a lot of, personal love. You could feel like they were excited to talk about the things that they were showcasing and just play video games with people who were excited about it just as much as they were. So if you've never had the chance to go or heard about it and was on the fence about going to Long Island Retro, I say you should absolutely go because there's so many great things to play. Go to Long Island Retro. Support this really amazing convention, expo. Like, it is so great. It is so fun. And yeah, I had a good time. I hope at the next one I can get to see you there and say hi. So thanks for listening to my talk. This is my first Ash Said Hangout, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try and do these a couple of times a month. It's fun to be able to just talk with you all. So if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. And you can also give me a follow on twitch.tv/AshSaidHi. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.